Hello everyone. So in this tutorial, we are going to learn about Git and integrating it to Android Studio. So let's go ahead and see how it works. So here, let me tell you that first we want to use the Git, and then we want to, for example, push our changes to the server, or maybe pull changes from the server. So first we need to have a local repository or our Android project. So let's assume that we have our Android project. It could be the Hello World project or any other projects. So this is called local repository. So I'm gonna type it here, local repository. Next, we need to specify the Git. So the Git is just a version control tool that is going to allow us to push or pull changes from the server or central repository. We have something called the Git here that is going to be the version control here for us. And first, we are going to use our local repository. And by using the version control tool, which is going to be the Git, we can connect with our central repository, or in this case, it is going to be GitHub. So we are going to use the GitHub to save our project or changes to the server by using the version control tool. So this is how it works. So first we have the GitHub, which is going to play the role of a central repository. And then we have the Git, which is going to be the version control tool that is going to allow us to use push and pull operations. And then we have the local repository, which is going to be our Android app. It can be your iOS app or also your web app or any other projects. So first of all, we need to go ahead and create our central repository. So we are going to use the GitHub. So in the Google, I'm going to just search for GitHub and then press an enter key on my keyboard. And here it is the link. Or you can just, inside this search area, you can just enter github.com. So I'm going to click on this link. So next, we need to go ahead and create an account. So if you already have an account, you just need to go ahead and click on sign in. But if you don't have an account, you just need to enter the username, the email, and a password, and then click on this button in order to sign up for an account in GitHub. So after entering your credentials in order to sign up for a GitHub account, it's going to ask you to choose your plan. So if you want to use the free plan, you can choose this option, unlimited public repositories for free. But if you want to have unlimited private repositories, you need to pay $7 per month. So for now, we are going to choose the free version. The paid version is going to give you the private options. So no one other than the people that you work with can actually access your project. So this is the version if you want to use for your own projects. But for now, let's just choose the free version. And here we have some other checkboxes that you can check. And then just click on continue. So next, it's going to ask you some questions that you can answer here. And then click on submit. Or you can just click on skip this step. So first, let me tell you that it might actually send you a confirmation email to the email address that you provided when you wanted to sign up for an account in GitHub. So you need to go ahead and confirm your email address, and then we can continue. So next, we have two buttons. So we have the read the guide button. So you can go ahead and read the guide. But in this tutorial, I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know about Git. So for now, you don't need to read the guide. So we can go ahead and start a new project. So just click on start a project button. So next, we are supposed to create our repository name for our project. So it says that our repository contains all the files for your project, including the version history. So let's go ahead and give it a name. Let's say that it is hello-world. So this is the name of our repository. And then here it says we can specify some descriptions. It is optional. We don't have to provide a value for this one. Next, we have the public and private options that I have already talked about. So if you don't want other people to find your project, you can choose the private option, but you need to pay $7 per month. But here we are going to just use the free version or the public version. It says initialize this repository with a README. So this option is going to initialize your repository with a README file that is going to have some descriptions about your repository. So it's a good habit to have a README file. So let's check this option. And then we have two more options. The first one, it says add git ignore file. So if you don't want, for example, if you want to push some files, some codes into your project, and you don't want some other files to be pushed to the project, you can just put the names of the files here so that some of the files will be ignored and will not be pushed to the central repository project. And then we have add a license. So we can take a look at these licenses, or we can just leave it as none. But for now, here for this one, add git ignore, because we don't have any other files that we want to be ignored when we want to, for example, use the push operation. Then we just choose the none here. For the license, I'm going to choose none, and I'm going to click on create repository. So that's it. Congratulations. Our repository is created, and you can see we have this README file. If you want to edit this README file, you can go ahead and click on this pencil, this edit icon. I can click on it, and here we can go ahead and edit this file. So for example, I'm gonna type in here, welcome to Git tutorials, done. So here I told you we can put some descriptions about our repository, and then we can go ahead and save our changes. So here I'm gonna click on commit changes. So here let me tell you that we can put some optional extended description here inside this area, but I'm gonna just click on commit changes. So next you can see that we have this text here. So here you can see that I have a typo. I'm gonna edit my README file again, and I'm gonna commit my changes. So we can also click on our repository, this hello-world, and we can now take a look at our commits. Remember what I told you about commits? When we save our project to GitHub, we are actually committing our changes, and we can have access to our commits. So here it will show you when was your last commit. So for me, it says 31 minutes ago. I don't know why it's showing me this value, but you can go ahead and take a look at the number of commits that we have here. We have 3 commits, and if I click on it, here you can see my commits. So we have the initial commit, and we have updated our README file 2 times. So we can have access to all of these commits. So let me click on this one, update readme.md, and here you can see that I have this typo, and then we have this text, right? So this is our second commit. And if I go back, and if I click on the last commit, you can see that I have updated my README file here again, and we have no typo here. So hopefully that makes sense, and you understand why Git version control is very important, and it's very useful. So make sure to use it in every project that you create in Android Studio, in every Java project or any other programming projects that you are going to create. So let's go ahead and click on back, and let's go ahead and click on our repository name, hello world. So you can also take a look at these informations. We have 3 commits, we have 1 branch, and here it says 1 contributor. So here, for example, I am the only one that is actually contributing to this project. If there are other people that are contributing to this Hello World project, then it's gonna show you the number here. So now it's time to go ahead and install the Git on our operating system, on our platform. So I'm gonna type in here Git in the Google, and then press an enter key on your keyboard. So then it's gonna show us a link to the official website of git-scm.com. So I'm gonna click on this link, and then it's gonna open this page for us. So we have this downloads options. So I'm gonna click on it. Now we have the download option for the Mac OS X, Windows, and Linux. And you can go ahead and choose your operating system. So I'm going to click on Windows. So now that the app is downloaded, I'm going to go ahead and open it. So I'm going to click on this exe file, and then I'm going to run this app. So here it is, the user interface of the setup. I'm going to click on next. Here it is going to be the path of the GIP that is going to be installed on our computer. Next. So here, let's go ahead and also create a shortcut on the desktop. So I'm going to check this checkbox that says on the desktop, and then click on next. And here it says that if you want to change the name of the folder, you can specify a different name. So the Git is okay. Let's just leave it as default and click on next. And here, let's just leave this value as default and next. And for this one, let's use the third option. Let's check the third radio button. It says use Git and optional Unix tools from the Windows command prompt. So we have this one, use Git from Git bash only, use Git from the Windows command prompt. But this third one, I think it's better. So let's go ahead and click on next. And here, let's use the open SSL library, the first one, next. And here, just leave things as default. The first option, check out Windows style, commit Unix style line endings, next. And this one is going to be the first option, use min TTY, next, and next. Just leave things as default, next. And here it says enable experimental built-in rebase. So you don't have to check these checkboxes, just leave these values as default and then click on install. So let's wait until it is installed on our computer. So now that the Git installation process is complete, we can go ahead and launch it. So I'm going to check this launch Git bash on option and then uncheck this view release notes. Just click on finish. So here it is, the Git bash. So here, let me make it a little bit wider. So here we can use the same commands that we learned in the previous tutorials about a command line application. So we can here write commands in order to perform some operations on our computer. We can create a directory, delete a directory, create a file, or delete a file. So for example, I'm gonna just type in here dir, and here we can see that it is showing me the name of the folders that we have currently inside the root directory. So we can just type in here cd. So that cd command, like the terminal application, doesn't show us what is the name of the current folder. So in order to find out currently we are inside what directory, you can just type in here dir or dir in order to find out what is the name of the directory that we are currently in. So we can go ahead and switch to the desktop directory. We can just type in here cd, and then I can type in here desktop. So I can press on tab key in order to use the autocomplete feature, and then press on enter key on my keyboard. So now I am on the desktop. So we can go ahead and create a directory here on the desktop. I'm gonna right click here and then click on new folder. So I'm gonna type it here, git hello world, git dash hello world. And then I can go ahead and type in here dir in order to find out what is the whether the folder exists here or not. So here we can see this git dash hello world. So we can cd to the git dash hello world. So cd git dash hello world. So now we are inside the folder. So here, because I checked the option to use the Unix commands, I can also use the ls command in order to find out what are the files or directories that we have inside our folder. So if you are using Mac, you can go ahead. So you already know the commands that you need to use inside Mac. So for example, in Windows we use directory or dir, but in Mac we use ls. So here I just typed in clear in order to clear this bash area. So you can just type in here the clear command and then press an enter key on your keyboard in order to clear this area. And another important point that I wanted to talk about is, for example, now I am inside the git-hello world folder, right? So I can go ahead and go back to the previous folder by just typing here cd space dash dash space. So now I am inside the desktop. So if you want to go back to the git-hello world, you just need to type in here cd space git tab and then press an enter key on your keyboard. So now let's go ahead and clone our Git repository project that we created earlier in this tutorial, and let's just clone that project into this folder git-hello world. Let's see how it is done. First, you need to type in here git space clone space, and then you need to go ahead and open your web browser. So next, here you can see that if you click on this hello-world project, you will see a button like this. It says clone or download. You need to click on it, and then it's gonna give you this link. You can either click on download as zip, or you can just go ahead and just copy this link. So let's go ahead and copy this link by just clicking on this icon, or you can just select this link and copy it, and then go back to the bash application and paste it here. So in order to paste it here, you need to right click here and then click on paste. So if you are using the keyboard shortcut, that might not work. So for example, Control V or Command V, that might not work because I am in Windows. I cannot use the Control V shortcut in order to paste this link here. So I needed to right click here and then click on paste, and then click on enter key on your keyboard. So now it's gonna start cloning a GitHub repository project hello-world into the git-hello world folder. So let's go ahead and see how it is done. So here it is, all folder, and here we can see this hello-world project. If you open it, you can see this readme file. So it works perfectly. So now let's go ahead and perform the push operation. First, we need to add some changes to our project, to this hello-world project. In order to do that, let's cd to the hello-world project, and then let's create a new file there. Let's say echo dot greater than sign, and then we need to just put the name of the file here. So for example, I can say music.java. Next, let's go ahead and press an enter key on our keyboard. So here you can see that for mine it says command not found. So because I checked the checkbox for the Unix commands, I may have to type in here touch space and then the name of the file. So music.java, and then press an enter key on your keyboard. So now it works. So now that I am using the Unix command, it works. So this is the same command that we use in the Mac platform. So I just used this command touch, and if I go ahead and open this folder and open the hello-world folder, you can see this Java file here. So now we added a new file to our project. So now we can go ahead and push this project or these changes to the repository, to our GitHub repository actually. So now if I type in here ls and then press on enter key on my keyboard, so now you should see the music.java file and the readme.md file. So now in order to see the status of our Git, we can just type in here git space status. So now it says on branch master. So it says your branch is up to date with origin/master, and we have an untracked file. So we need to add this file to our Git. Remember what I told you about Git and GitHub? First, we have the local repository. So in this case, we have our project hello-world, and then we have the Git, and then we have the GitHub, which is going to be the server in order to host our files. So we use the Git in order to perform our push or pull operations, our Git operations. So first we need to add this newly created file, this music.java, to our Git, and then we can perform the push operation. So here we need to say git space add and then the name of the file, so music.java. So notice that here, when I typed in git status, the music.java is now in red color, right? And it says we have untracked files. It says use git add and then the name of the file to include in what will be committed. This is very important. We want to commit our changes to the central repository. So we need to add this file to the git itself. So that's why it says just type in here git add and then the name of the file. So that's what I did here exactly. Git add music.java and then press an enter key on your keyboard. So now let's go ahead and type in here git status. So here it says command not found. So it seems that I have a typo here. So git status. Now it says your branch is up to date with the origin master. And here it says changes to be committed. So you can see that we have the music.java file. So this is the new file that is added to the git. Now we can go ahead and commit our changes and push our file to the central repository. So here we can see that this bash file is a little bit crowded. So you can type in here clear if you want and then clear this area. But because I want you to know that what are the commands that we put here in order to push our file to the central repository, I'm not gonna clear this area. I'm just gonna make this area a little bit wider so that you can see what's going on here. Now I'm gonna type in here git space and then commit space. So make sure that you don't have any typo here, otherwise it won't work. So git space commit space dash m space 2 quotes. So inside the quotes you just need to put the commit message, a message about your commit that you're making here. So I'm going to type in here, this is my first commit, and then space, you need to specify the name of the file that you want to commit. So it is going to be music.java, and then press an enter key on your keyboard. So now it says one file is added or changed. So this is the message, and we have committed our change here. So now that we have committed our change or our file music.java, it's time to perform the push operation in order to push our file music.java into our GitHub repository. So I'm gonna type in here git space push space dash u space origin space master. So origin space master, and then I'm gonna press an enter key on my keyboard. So now let's wait. So now it's gonna ask you, so here it is the GitHub login, it's gonna ask you to enter your username or password. So I know my username, and then here I need to enter my password and then click on login. So I entered my credentials into the login dialog, and now my push operation is done. And here you can see that it says that it seems that 4 changes are done, 100% complete and done. So we can go ahead and open our web browser. So here let's go ahead and click on hello world. This is going to be our GitHub repository. So here it is, the music.java file, and this is actually an empty file, so we shouldn't see anything here, but we could successfully perform the push operation here. So congratulations. And also you can take a look at this message, the commit message. This is my first commit. So now it's challenge time. Go ahead and commit and push the app.java file to your hello world GitHub repository. So give this challenge a go and good luck. So you can also go ahead and modify this file. So I'm gonna click on this music.java file, and I can go ahead and click on edit here, edit this file, and I can enter some lines of code here and then just click on commit changes. Or you can also go ahead and open your project here and then open the music.java file by an IDE that can open Java files, for example, Eclipse, NetBeans, or the IntelliJ IDEA that I'm using. So I'm gonna here click on this X in order to close this window, and then the IDE is opened for me. So you can use whatever IDEs that you want in order to open your Java files. So let's wait a little bit here, and then you can modify this file. So for example, I can say class music, and then I can go ahead and open and close this class by using these curly braces. So I just modified this file, right? So I'm gonna save these changes, or you can just go ahead and click on file, and if it has the save option here, you can go ahead and save it. So, or you can just hold down the control key and then press on S, and if you are using Mac, Command S, and then close this file. So when I'm trying to close this file, it is asking me to, are you sure you want to close? So I'm going to click on exit. And now if I open this file again, it should show me that this file is modified. Okay, so here it is, our file, so it is saved. I'm going to close it again. Now we can go ahead. So let's go ahead and open our bash file. So this time I'm going to clear this area, and then I'm gonna just type in here ls in order to see what are the files that we have inside this directory. So now I'm gonna go ahead and commit my changes and then push these changes to the GitHub repository. So first of all, let's see what is the status of our Git. So I'm gonna type in here Git status. So now it says that the music.java file is modified. So first of all, we need to go ahead and add this file to our Git and then commit these changes. So we can say git add, and then the name of the file, so music.java. So next, if I enter git status, now it says that you can see that the modified file is in green color. So the status is good, and now it's time to commit the changes. So I'm gonna say git commit -m, and then put 2 double quotes here. Inside the quotes, just type in here the message for the commit. So I'm gonna type in here, this is my second commit, and then space. Next, you just need to refer to the Java file, so music.java, and then press on enter key on your keyboard. So now it has been committed. It says one file changed. So now it's time to push our changes to the GitHub repository. So I'm gonna type in here push, git push -u space origin master. So now let's wait a little bit here. If you are not logged in to GitHub on your desktop, then it's gonna give you a message or a dialog in order to enter your credentials, and then it will push these changes to the GitHub repository. So let's go ahead and open our web browser. So here, let's click on this Hello World project, and then let's click on this music.java. So here we can see our changes. We have a class called music, an opening curly brace followed by a closing curly brace. So this works fine. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our commits. So if I go ahead and click on this Hello World, the GitHub repository project, if I click on commits here, it says now we have 5 commits. So this is our first commit 17 minutes ago, and our second commit, which is 2 minutes ago. So hopefully that makes sense. So let's go back to our desktop, and here I'm gonna close this bash file, and I'm gonna create another folder here. So I'm gonna go to new and then click on folder. So here I'm gonna and then name it as Android-Git. So let's go inside this folder, and here I'm gonna first right click inside an empty area, and here we have 2 options added to this list. The first one is get GUI here, or GUI here, graphical user interface, and we have the get bash here. Let's click on this one, get bash here. So look what is happening here. We are already inside the desktop /android-git. So now we can start coding inside this bash file, and we are already inside the android.git folder. So now in order to create a local repository, we need to type in here git init and then press an enter key on your keyboard. So it says initialized empty git repository in this address desktop android-git/.git. So now that our local repository is initialized, so now we are going to learn about the pull operation. So first we need to add our repository here in the GitHub. You can see this is this hello world GitHub repository. So we are going to add this repository as our origin. So in order to do that, we need to go to our bash file and just type in here git remote add origin and then space, just put 2 double quotes here, and then we need to go back and just copy this link and then paste it inside these quotes. So we need to right click here and then click on paste. So next, let's press an enter key on our keyboard. So now we have no errors. So this means that the operation was successful. We could successfully add this project, this repository, and then we can use the pull operation. So now it's time to fetch all of the files that we have in the central repository here in the GitHub and put it into our local repository. So here we should go back to our desktop. So here it is going to be our local repository that we initialized earlier. So let's go ahead and do that. So just type in here git pull origin master and then press an enter key on your keyboard. So now it's done. So here we can see that we could successfully fetch the data from the master branch to our new master branch here, the origin master. So if you go to android-git folder, here you should see these two files, the music.java file and this readme.md file. So congratulations, you could successfully perform the pull operation in order to get the changes from the server or the central repository. So now let's go ahead and create multiple Java files inside our local repository. So in order to do that, here I just need to type in touch and then the name of the file. So the first one is going to be song.java, and then let's create another one, touch. So this one is going to be paint.java, for example. And let's create another one, touch. The final one I'm going to type in here, a lion.java. So now if you go ahead and open this android-git folder, you should see all of these files, these Java files. So now I want to add and commit multiple files by just writing one command. So first, in order to push all of these files to our repository in the GitHub, first we need to add and commit these files to the index. So index is where the Git is going to store all of our files inside a local repository. So in other words, we need to somehow save these changes to our local repository, and then by committing these changes, we are going to create a new snapshot or a new object that contains all of our updated objects actually. So when we say commit, this means that we are going to have a new snapshot of our file or of our project that is going to contain the updated files. So after committing our changes, then finally we can push our file to the server. So first we need to say add. So just type in here git add, actually git add. So first let me show you the status of our git. So git status. So here you can see that we have multiple files, lion.java, paint.java, and song.java. So let's go ahead and say git add and then space dash capital A. So this is very important. You must use capital A here, because if you use lowercase letter a, then it's not gonna work. So git add dash capital A, then it's gonna add all of these files to the index. So I'm gonna press an enter key on my keyboard. I can go ahead and type in here git status. So now all of these files are actually added to the index, git index. So now they are ready to be committed, and we can now create a new snapshot of all of these changes. Then we can go ahead and if we want, we can push these changes to the central repository in the GitHub. So let's first clear this area here by just typing clear and then type in here git commit and then space dash lowercase letter here. This is very important. Remember, in order to add our changes, all of our changes at once, we needed to use the capital A, dash capital A. But in order to commit all of these changes at once, we need to use dash lowercase letter, space, dash M, okay? Space, and then you put 2 double quotes. Inside the quotes, you just need to write in here the message, the commit message. So I'm gonna type in here uploading, or let's say committing multiple files. Next, I just need to go ahead and press an enter key on my keyboard. So now it says committing multiple files. It is done and ready. So I can type in here git status. So here you can see that it says nothing to commit, working tree is clean. So hopefully that makes sense. So another important point that I want to talk about here is that you must always commit your changes with a message inside the double quotes. This is very important. If you don't put the message, your changes will not be committed. So in order to see more information about the commits that you have made, you just need to type in here git log. So by entering this command, you will see some information about the commits that you have made so far. So it's challenge time. First, go ahead and create a central repository on GitHub, and then go ahead and create a local repository in the downloads folder of your computer, and then add 5 Java files to your local repository. Next, go ahead and push your files to the central repository, and also try to pull your files back to the local repository. Here, I want you to practice the push and pull operations by using the Git version control tool. So give this challenge a go and good luck. So in the next video, we are going to learn about Git parallel development. So I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial.